The graveyard was quiet. Only the wind moved, brushing over old stones and forgotten names. The night was heavy with clouds, hiding the stars, as if the sky itself did not want to watch. A young woman walked slowly between the graves. Her steps were weak. Her shoulders bent forward, as if she carried a weight no one else could see. Her name was Anna. She wore a long black coat that swayed in the cold air. In her hand, she held a single white flower. She clutched it so tightly that the stem bent and broke, but she did not notice. Her eyes were locked on one grave ahead. She knew every step of the path. She had walked it many times before, but tonight her body shook as if her legs did not want to move. She reached the stone and fell to her knees. The grass was wet, and the earth smelled of rain. But she did not care. Her hand touched the stone gently, like she feared it might break. The name carved into it was still sharp, still fresh. Her voice broke the silence. "I'm sorry," she whispered. The words trembled in the air, fragile and weak. "I'm sorry I didn't save you." Her hand pressed harder on the stone. Her eyes filled with tears, and they slid down her cheeks, shining in the dim moonlight. She remembered the day she lost him, the sound of gunfire, the flash of light, the sudden silence that followed. She remembered calling his name again and again, but no answer came. She remembered the moment she saw the smoke and knew he was gone. That memory lived inside her like a shadow that never left. "I tried," she said. Her voice cracked. "I swear I tried, but I couldn't reach you in time. I wasn't strong enough." The flower dropped from her hand onto the soil. She bowed her head and let her tears fall freely. Her heart ached with guilt. She had carried this guilt for months, but tonight it was too heavy to hold inside. She closed her eyes, listening to the silence around her. But in that silence there was something else, something soft, like the sound of footsteps. At first, she thought it was her mind playing tricks. Graveyards always made people hear things: the wind, the trees, the earth shifting. But then the sound grew clearer. Her head lifted slowly. She looked around, her breath caught in her throat. No one was there. The stones stretched out in every direction, rows and rows of names of the dead. The night air pressed close, and the clouds above seemed darker than before. She shook her head and looked back down. Her fingers traced the letters on the stone. "You were the best of us," she said. "You always protected everyone, but I couldn't protect you." Behind her in the distance, a shadow moved. Anna did not see it. Her eyes stayed on the grave, and her tears blurred the world around her. The shadow stepped closer. It was tall, human in shape, but something about it was strange. Its steps were slow, heavy, like someone learning to walk again after years in the dark. The air grew colder. The wind seemed to pause, waiting. Anna shivered and wiped her tears away. "I don't know if you can hear me," she said softly, "but I'll keep coming back. I'll never forget you." Never. The shadow came closer. Now only a few steps behind her, the figure stood still. The graveyard was silent again, but the silence felt heavier, sharper. If Anna had turned, she would have seen the face she thought was gone forever, a face scarred, pale, changed, but alive. The figure's chest rose and fell with breath. His eyes glowed faintly in the dark, not fully human. His lips parted as if he wanted to speak, but no sound came. Anna knelt in the dirt, whispering her guilt into the night. She did not know the truth. She did not know that the man she mourned, the man she had buried in her heart, was standing right behind her. He was alive, and he was listening. The revelation. The night grew colder. Anna's breath made white clouds in the air, but she didn't feel the chill. Her heart was too heavy with sorrow. She kept her head bowed, whispering to the grave, whispering to the name carved in stone. But behind her the figure stayed, silent, waiting. He had watched her many nights before, but tonight was different. Tonight he was close enough to reach out, close enough to speak. His chest rose and fell with a strange rhythm, like a man, and yet not a man. His body carried the marks of battles and the signs of something darker, something not from this earth. The moon broke through the clouds for only a moment, spilling silver light across the graveyard. That light touched his face. His skin was pale, stretched too thin. A scar cut across his cheek, long and deep. His eyes glowed faintly, not with life, but with something that belonged to another world. They were not the eyes she remembered. They were colder, sharper. He whispered her name. Anna. The sound was soft, but it sliced the silence like a blade. Anna froze. Her body stiffened. Her hands clenched into fists on the wet ground. Slowly, she turned her head. At first, her eyes refused to believe what they saw. A shadow stood behind her, tall and broken but human in shape. Her heart hammered in her chest. She blinked, thinking it was a trick of the dark, but then the figure stepped closer. Moonlight caught his face. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Her eyes widened in shock and disbelief and terror. It was him, the man she buried in her memory, the man she mourned every night, the man whose name was carved in stone before her. And yet he stood alive only a few steps away. No, she whispered. Her voice shook. This can't be real. He took another step closer. His boots pressed into the wet grass, leaving marks like heavy weights had carried him. His voice came again, rough, broken, but clear enough to stab straight into her heart. You left me. The words hit her like a blow. She staggered back, her knees slipping in the mud. Her breath caught in her throat. I thought you were dead. Her voice was desperate. I saw the explosion. You left me. His tone was flat, empty, like the voice of someone who had walked through endless nights and never found peace. Her eyes searched his face, searching for the man she remembered. The warm smile, the brave eyes, the steady presence that once made her feel safe, but that man was gone. What stood before her was something else. What are you? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He didn't answer. His eyes glowed brighter for a moment, and he looked away, as if ashamed. His hands shook at his sides, clenched fists that carried both anger and pain. The silence stretched between them, thick and suffocating. Anna's heart raced. She wanted to run, but her legs would not move. She wanted to believe this was a dream, but her skin felt too cold, her breath too real. Finally, she said, If you're alive, how? The man lifted his head slowly. His eyes locked onto hers. There was no warmth in them, only the memory of something once human. They took me, he said. His voice broke on the words, like each one cost him a piece of himself. The ones we fought, the ones you never saw. Anna felt her blood run. Called aliens, he nodded once. They kept me, they changed me, piece by piece, until I wasn't sure if I was still myself. Anna's hands trembled. She pressed them to her mouth to keep from crying out. The night pressed closer, heavier, as if listening to every word. I tried to come back to you, he said. His voice grew harsher now, sharper. But when I returned, I found this. He gestured to the grave. His hand shook violently, and his breath grew ragged. You buried me. Tears burned Anna's eyes. Because I thought you were gone. I thought you were dead. His face twisted in anger, in pain, and something darker than either. You gave up on me. She shook her head, sobbing. No, I never gave up. I never forgot you. I came here every night. I prayed. I cried. Too late. His voice was low, dangerous, but beneath it was something else. Sorrow. Deep and endless. Anna stared at him, broken between joy that he was alive and terror at what he had become. She saw his scars, his glowing eyes, the way his body trembled as if it could not hold itself together. He was human, and yet not human anymore. Tell me, she whispered, are you really him? Or are you something wearing his face? The man's silence was worse than any answer. He looked at her with eyes that glowed faintly like dying stars. "I don't know," he said finally. Her heart cracked. The man she once knew was inside that voice, but buried under layers of pain and change. For a long moment they only stared at each other, the grave between them like a wall. Then, in the distance, a sound broke the silence, a sharp hum, metallic and cold. Lights flickered beyond the trees. The man's head snapped up. His eyes narrowed. "They're coming," he whispered. Anna's breath caught. "Who?" "The ones who made me." And with those words, the graveyard no longer felt safe. The night was no longer silent. The revelation that he was alive was only the beginning. Something darker had followed him back. The confrontation. The hum in the distance grew louder. It wasn't the sound of machines humans built. It was colder, sharper, like the cry of metal dragging across glass. Anna's skin prickled. The air itself seemed to tighten, as if the night held its breath. She looked at him. At the man she once knew. At the man who now stood alive before her, changed, broken, and burning with something she didn't understand. "Who's coming?" she whispered again. His eyes flashed with that strange glow, brighter this time. "The ones who made me into this, the ones who never wanted me to leave." Anna's throat tightened. She wanted to reach out, to touch his face, to prove to herself this was real, but her hand stopped halfway, trembling. Fear chained her wrist. "You're different," she said. "Not just your scars, not just your eyes, you're not the same." He tilted his head slowly, like a predator studying prey. "And what are you, Anna? Still the same girl who walked away?" Her stomach knotted. Anger flared in her chest, burning away some of the fear. "I didn't walk away, I thought you were dead. I buried an empty coffin because I had nothing left of you. Do you understand what that did to me?" For a moment his face softened. Just a flicker. She saw a ghost of the man she once knew. The man who laughed in the firelight and always stood in front when danger came. But then it was gone, replaced by that cold alien hardness. "You survived," he said flatly. "I didn't." Anna rose to her feet. The mud clung to her knees, but she didn't care. She faced him fully now, her chin lifted. "You're alive. That should matter more than what happened." He stepped closer, his shadow swallowing hers. "Alive? Do I look alive to you?" He grabbed her wrist suddenly, pressing her hand against his chest. She gasped. His skin was hot, almost burning, but beneath it she felt something strange. His heartbeat wasn't steady. It stuttered, faltered, then surged again in a rhythm that wasn't human. Anna pulled her hand back, stumbling away. Her voice shook. "What did they do to you?" His jaw tightened. "They remade me, tested me, broke me, stitched me back together with pieces that were never mine." His voice dropped, dark with shame. "I don't know how much of me is still human." Her eyes filled with tears. "You're still you," she said, though her voice trembled with doubt. He turned his head as if the words wounded him. His silence screamed louder than any denial. The hum in the distance grew louder, closer now. Faint red lights flickered between the trees. Anna's pulse quickened. "What do they want?" she asked. His gaze snapped back to her. "Me. Always me. I am their experiment, their weapon, their failure." He took a step closer, lowering his voice until it was barely a growl. "But maybe I am also their spy." Her breath caught. Her chest tightened like a trap snapping shut. "What are you saying?" He leaned closer, his glowing eyes locked on hers. "What if they didn't let me escape? What if they sent me back? To see if you would take me in?" Her blood froze. The graveyard around them felt smaller, the air heavier. Doubt pierced her heart like a blade. She shook her head violently. "No. You're lying to yourself. You wouldn't hurt me." "Wouldn't I?" His voice was low, broken, dangerous. I don't even know what I am anymore. Anna's fists clenched. She felt both fear and defiance rising in her. Then let me remind you who you were. You were brave. You were kind. You were human. If any part of that man is still inside you, fight for it. His breath came hard, ragged as if her words tore something loose inside him. For a heartbeat he wavered. His hands shook. His glowing eyes dimmed slightly. But then the sound of the machine screamed louder. Closer now, breaking the fragile moment. Red beams cut through the trees, searching, sweeping across the stones. Anna spun toward the lights, her heart racing. We have to run. But he didn't move. He stood like a statue, staring at her with those burning eyes. What if I lead them to you? He asked. She froze. What if I'm the reason they found you here tonight? His voice shook, a mixture of fear and self-loathing. Anna stepped closer, her voice sharp. Then you can also be the reason we survive. His head tilted slightly, like he was testing her words, weighing them. The red lights grew brighter. The sound of the machines was almost on top of them. Finally, he turned his head toward the trees. Stay behind me, he said. His voice was low, commanding, but inside it was something else. A memory of who he used to be. Anna's breath rushed out in relief and fear all at once. She moved closer, standing just behind him. Her heart pounded in her chest, and yet a strange calm spread through her. The first of the machines broke through the trees. They were tall, spider-like things of black metal and glowing red eyes. Their movements were jerky but fast, crawling across the graves as if they belonged there. The sound of their claws scraping stone echoed in the night. Anna's hand flew to her mouth to keep from screaming. The man she once knew, the man who was no longer fully human, stepped forward. His glowing eyes met the red eyes of the machines. His fists clenched, and for the first time Anna saw it. Power flickering under his skin, crawling like fire through his veins. He was not just a man anymore, and the confrontation between what he had become and what hunted him was about to begin. The truth about his death. The machines closed in, their red eyes sweeping the graveyard like searchlights. Their claws clattered against stone, grinding into names carved in marble, breaking markers of the dead. The sound was a cruel reminder. Nothing human was sacred to them. Anna stood frozen, her back against the cold stone of the grave, the one that bore his name. Her hands shook so badly she could hardly breathe. The man, if he was still a man, stepped forward, putting himself between her and the approaching swarm. His shoulders were tense, his head bowed slightly, as though he carried an invisible weight. His glowing eyes burned brighter, reflecting the red of the machines. Anna whispered, "What do they want from you?" His chest rose and fell, ragged. His voice was sharp with both anger and despair. "They don't want me, Anna. They own me." And then, before she could ask what he meant, the truth began to spill out, half-spoken, half-remembered, half-forced from him as the machines came closer. The flashback begins. The graveyard seemed to dissolve around Anna. His words painted the night with memories so strong she could almost see them. The smell of smoke, the taste of ash, the cries of men. He spoke through clenched teeth. That night, when the sky turned red and the ground burned beneath our feet, I didn't die in the fire. I was taken. Anna saw it in her mind's eye. The battlefield, soldiers scattering, screaming, the sound of alien weapons, not like bullets, but waves of light that cut through metal and flesh the same way. She saw him, the man she once fought beside, running into the flames, always the first into danger. I thought I could stop them. His voice continued, shaking. I thought I could hold the line so you and the others could escape, but they didn't kill me. They pulled me out of the fire before the blast took everything. They wrapped me in light and dragged me away. Anna shivered, her breath sharp. Dragged you where? He turned his face toward her, the glow of his eyes dimming for just a second. Into the dark. Into their world. The captivity. The memory cut deeper now. He saw walls of glass, endless white light, and shadows of figures that were not human. Long limbs, cold hands, eyes like shards of ice. They studied me, he whispered, his voice raw. They wanted to know how a human could fight, how a human could choose. They opened me up. They tore me apart. And when I broke, they put me back together with pieces that weren't mine. Anna's stomach twisted. Her heart hammered against her ribs. That's why your eyes. That's why everything. He cut her off, his voice trembling. The scars you see are nothing. What's inside me? That's theirs now. He pressed a shaking hand to his chest. His veins pulsed faintly with light under his skin, crawling like fire. This body doesn't just belong to me anymore. It's theirs. Every time I breathe, I hear their whispers. Every time I sleep, I dream their dreams. Anna took a step forward, tears in her eyes. But you're here. You escaped. His laugh was hollow, broken. Escaped? Or sent back? The revelation of betrayal. The machines screeched, their claws dragging across stone as they formed a half circle around the grave. Red beams lit the night, searching, hunting. Anna's hands balled into fists. She wanted to fight, to scream, but she couldn't look away from him. What are you saying? She asked. He turned his face toward her fully now, and for the first time, his eyes looked afraid. Not of her, not of death, but of himself. I remember dying, he whispered. I remember the explosion tearing through me, but then I woke up. Alive. Not whole, but alive. And the first thought I had wasn't mine. It was theirs. Anna's breath caught. They put something inside me. Codes, commands, triggers I don't even understand. Sometimes I hear their voices telling me what to do. Sometimes I don't know if the words I speak are mine or theirs. Her blood went cold. You think they made you a weapon? He shook his head slowly, bitterly. I don't think, Anna. I know. Back to the present, one of the machines lunged, forward suddenly, its claws slashing at the air. He moved faster than any human should have been able to, his hand shooting out and catching the metal limb before it struck. Sparks flew. His glowing veins lit up brighter, pulsing with unnatural energy. He ripped the claw free with a sound like tearing steel. The machine screamed, a metallic wail that made the ground tremble. Anna stumbled back, her heart racing. She had seen him fight before, but never like this. His movements were too sharp, too strong, too inhuman. The other machines closed in. He turned his head slightly, shouting over his shoulder. Do you see now? This is what I am, not yours, not theirs. Something in between, something that doesn't belong anywhere. Anna's voice broke. You're wrong. You're still... Stop. His roar shook her to silence. His eyes blazed. Brighter, his chest heaving. Stop telling me I'm still him. That man died in the fire. What's left is just their creation. The unbearable truth. For a moment, the graveyard seemed to fall still. Even the machines paused as though waiting. He stood there, broken and alive, his fists clenched, his veins glowing, his eyes burning. Anna looked at him, tears streaming down her face. She wanted to believe. She wanted to deny. But deep inside, she felt the truth. The man she once knew was gone, or at least buried deep inside something alien. But still, she refused to give up. You say you're theirs, she whispered, her voice steady even through her tears. But you're here. You came to me, not to them. That means something. That means there's still a part of you fighting. His chest rose and fell. Heavy. For a moment, his hands shook, not with rage but with hesitation. Then the machine screamed again, louder now, rushing forward with deadly speed. The truth of his death was no longer just a memory. It was alive, standing in front of Anna, fighting, beside her, haunted by the past, hunted by the future. And the night was about to decide which part of him survived. Suspicion and doubt. The machines moved like predators across the graveyard, their red eyes glowing through the mist. They crawled over tombstones and broken crosses, claws tearing deep into the earth. Their metallic shrieks cut through the night, like blades. Anna pressed her back to the stone that bore his name. Her breath came fast, sharp, white in the cold air. She could hear her own heart hammering, loud as thunder in her chest. He stood in front of her, blocking the path of the machines. His glowing veins flared brighter with every step they took closer. Power pulsed beneath his skin like fire trapped in glass. He didn't move yet, only waited, shoulders tight, fists clenched, eyes fixed on the swarm. Anna's voice cracked. "They'll kill us both," he answered without turning. "No, they'll kill you, they'll take me back." Her chest tightened. The words chilled her more than the night. He lowered his head, his voice harsh. "That's the truth, Anna. I am theirs. I belong to them." Anna's throat burned. Her heart screamed to deny it, but her mind whispered doubt. The way his body glowed, the way he moved with inhuman speed, the way his voice sometimes carried two tones, one human, one not. Could she really trust him? The machines shrieked again, rushing forward. He moved before she could think. Faster, than her eyes could follow. His fist struck the first machine, shattering metal into sparks. His other hand ripped a leg clean off another. His veins lit like fire, burning through the fog with every blow. But there was no mercy in his face. No human fear. Only cold fury. Anna covered her mouth, watching in horror and awe. This wasn't the man she buried. This wasn't the friend who once laughed in the trenches, who once promised he'd never leave her side. This was something else, something terrifying. And yet, when one machine broke past him, skittering toward her, he turned instantly. His body twisted, his arm flung out, and he hurled the broken machine's claw like a spear. It impaled the attacker before it reached her. He had saved her life. But was it instinct? Or programming? The seeds of doubt. The machines regrouped, circling. Their red lights scanned the ground, and their shrieks echoed like commands. He stood panting, the glow beneath his skin flickering. His hands trembled as if barely under control. Anna stepped forward, voice trembling. "Why do they want you alive?" His jaw clenched. He didn't answer. "Tell me." Her voice cracked with fear and fury. "If you're not theirs anymore, why are they still hunting you?" He turned slowly, his glowing eyes locking onto hers. For a heartbeat, she felt a chill like ice crawling down her spine. "What if I told you," he said quietly, "that they didn't come for me?" Her stomach dropped. "What?" His voice grew darker, heavier. "What if they came for you, and I am only the key to get close?" Anna staggered back, her breath caught in her throat. "You're lying." His gaze didn't soften. "Am I?" "Think, Anna. How did they find us here? This graveyard, this night, I didn't call them." Her knees weakened. Her hands trembled at her sides. Then what are you saying?" He stepped closer. The glow of his eyes pierced through her. Tears. "I'm saying you should ask yourself if I'm here to protect you, or to deliver you, torn between fear and faith." The machines shrieked and lunged again. He spun, striking them down with brutal force. His fists tore through steel. Sparks lit the night. His veins glowed brighter, his body moving with violent precision. Anna watched, shaking. Every blow he landed filled her with two feelings at once: relief that he was saving her, and dread that he was too powerful, too alien. Her mind screamed with doubt. What if he wasn't really saving her? What if this was all part of the game? When the last machine collapsed in pieces, silence crashed back over the graveyard. Only the sound of his ragged breathing filled the air. He turned toward her slowly. His eyes glowed in the dark, and for a moment she swore she saw no humanity left in them at all. She stepped back. "Stay away from me." Pain flashed across his face, sharp as a blade. "You don't trust me." "How can I?" she whispered. "You glow like them, you fight like them, you sound like them. Maybe you are one of them." His fists clenched. His breath grew heavy, harsh. For a terrifying second, she thought he might strike her. But then his shoulders sagged and his voice cracked. Do you think I don't ask myself the same question every night? His words trembled with anger and grief. Do you think I don't wake up wondering if I'm still me, or just a shell? Wearing his face? Anna's tears fell. She shook her head, caught between love and fear. I want to believe you. I want to believe you're still him. But how do I know? His eyes dimmed, glowing less now like fading embers. He whispered, broken. You don't. The silent test. The graveyard fell still. The broken machines smoked around them. The night pressed down heavy, waiting. Anna's mind spun. She thought of running. She thought of staying. She thought of the man he used to be and the weapon he might now be. Then he dropped to his knees suddenly, clutching his head. His veins flared bright, burning under his skin. His screams split the air. Get out of my head. He roared, his voice layered, doubled, half human, half alien. Anna froze, terror locking her limbs. She could see it now, something fighting inside him. A battle she couldn't see, but could hear in his voice, could feel in the tremors that shook the ground. He slammed his fists into the dirt, carving deep holes. His body convulsed. His glowing eyes flickered between human sorrow and alien rage. Anna, he gasped, his voice barely his own. If I lose this fight, if I turn on you, you have to end me. Her tears blurred the world. Her voice broke. I can't. You must. His roar echoed like thunder. Because if I am theirs, if I am a weapon, they won't stop until you're gone too. The doubt that cuts deep. She fell to her knees beside him, torn apart by fear and love. She reached out, her hand hovering inches from his face. His skin glowed hot, his veins burned, his body shook like it was tearing itself apart. Her voice shook. Tell me you're still you. Just tell me once. I'll believe it. He looked up, his glowing eyes flickering. For one brief heartbeat she saw him, the man she remembered, the one who laughed, who fought, who promised. His lips moved. I am, he whispered. And then his body collapsed forward, hitting the ground. Anna screamed his name, but his glowing veins dimmed, fading like dying embers. The graveyard fell silent again. But in the silence, Anna's heart was torn, because she didn't know if she had just saved him or lost him forever. The real enemy Anna knelt in the mud beside him, her hands gripping his shoulders. His body twitched, glowing veins pulsing under his skin like lightning trapped inside. His breath came shallow, ragged, broken. Stay with me, she whispered, shaking him gently. Don't you dare leave me again. For a moment there was nothing. His eyes stayed closed. His chest barely moved. And then, the ground shook. Anna looked up sharply. Between the trees, red light flared brighter. Not one machine this time, not 5, dozens. A swarm. Their shrieks filled the night like metal screaming, crawling into her bones. Her blood turned to ice. She turned back to him. Please. She begged. Wake up. His eyelids snapped open. His eyes glowed brighter than ever before, burning with both fire and pain. He gasped, dragging in a sharp breath, then pushed himself up slowly. His voice was hoarse, broken, but filled with iron. They've found us. Anna's heart hammered. Then we run. He shook his head. His glowing veins flared hotter, brighter. There is no running. Not tonight. The swarm burst into the graveyard. Spider-like machines leapt over tombstones, their claws clattering against marble. Red beams scanned across the ground, slicing through shadows. Behind them, larger figures appeared, towering drones with long, blade-like arms. Their eyes glowed blue instead of red. Anna stumbled back, her chest tight. What are those? His face darkened. Commanders. Her stomach dropped. The swarm spread wide. surrounding the graveyard in a circle of glowing eyes. The night filled with the sound of their shrieks. Anna felt trapped in the center of a nightmare. He stepped forward, his fists clenched, his eyes blazing. They didn't come for me this time, Anna. They came for you. The words hit her harder than the cold air. She stared at him, stunned. For me? Why? He turned his head toward her, his expression grim. Because you're the only one who ever mattered to me. They know that. They use it. They want to see if I will break again. Anna's legs trembled. So this is all about me? No. His voice was hard. It's about what I will do for you. The swarm moved closer, their claws scraping stone, their eyes blazing. Anna's tears blurred her vision. Then what will you do? He looked at her, his face torn between sorrow and fire. I'll show them I am not theirs anymore. The first wave the machines lunged. He moved like fire. His fists slammed into metal, tearing through steel like it was paper. Sparks showered the ground. He spun, grabbed a machine by its leg and smashed it into two others. Their screeches filled the night, echoing through the graves. Anna backed against a stone, watching with wide eyes. She had seen battles before, but nothing like this. His movements weren't just human. They were faster, sharper, charged with alien power. Every strike shook the ground. Every blow burned with fury. But for every machine he crushed, two more surged forward. Anna grabbed a broken metal shard from the ground. Her hands shook, but she raised it like a blade. One of the smaller machines skittered toward her, red eyes flashing. She screamed and drove the shard into its eye. Sparks exploded, and the machine fell twitching at her feet. Her breath came fast, but her eyes burned with determination. She would not be prey. Not tonight. The commanders step in. The blue-eyed commanders advanced, their long blade arms gleaming. Unlike the swarm, their movements were slow, precise, filled with intent. He froze when he saw them. His glowing eyes dimmed, slightly, fear flickering for the first time. They are the ones who built me, he whispered. Anna's heart dropped. The commanders spread out, circling. Their voices rang out in metallic harmony, cold and hollow. Return. Obey. Complete the purpose. He shook his head violently, clutching his temples. His veins pulsed, burning bright. His voice roared through the graveyard. I am not yours. The machines screeched in unison, their voices vibrating the earth. Anna rushed to his side. Don't listen. But his body shook, torn between rage and pain. His voice cracked. They're in my head. They're pulling me back. Anna grabbed, his face forcing his glowing eyes to meet hers. Then fight them. Fight them for me. If I'm the reason they're here, then let me be the reason you resist. For a moment, the glow in his eyes steadied. His breathing slowed. The voices in the air faded. He stood tall again, his fists clenched, his chest heaving. He faced the commanders, his voice sharp and fierce. You turned me into a weapon. Now I'll use that weapon against you. The revelation, the commanders didn't retreat. Instead, they raised their blade arms high. A blue light pulsed from their chests, spreading across the graveyard. Anna gasped. Around her, the ground split open. From the cracks, black pods emerged, long and sharp, glowing faintly with blue veins. The pods opened. Inside each one was a figure. Not machines, humans, or what was left of them. Their skin was pale, their veins glowing faintly like his. Their eyes burned with alien light. They stepped out of the pods, moving slowly, their faces empty of expression. Anna staggered back, horror filling her. What are they? His face hardened. The others? Anna shook her head, trembling. Others? You mean... He nodded grimly. I wasn't the only one they took. Her blood turned to ice. Dozens of them, soldiers, civilians, all changed, all broken, all glowing like him. Her voice cracked. You told me you escaped. His jaw tightened. I did, but they brought the rest back with me. Anna's tears blurred her sight. You lied. His eyes flickered with pain. I didn't lie. I just couldn't face the truth. The glowing soldiers stepped forward, surrounding the graveyard. They moved like puppets on strings, their eyes locked on Anna. The commander's voices boomed again. Choose. Protect her and destroy yourself, or deliver her and live. The breaking point. Anna's heart pounded. She stared at him, her mind spinning. Was this the test? Was this the reason they let him live? To see if he would trade her for freedom? Her voice broke. Tell me, who are you really? Them or you? He turned toward her slowly. His glowing eyes flickered. His veins pulsed violently. His body shook under the weight of the choice. I don't know, he whispered. The glowing soldiers advanced. The commanders raised their blades. Anna's tears streamed down her face. Her voice trembled. Then decide, right now, are you the man I lost, or the weapon they made? His body tensed, his fists clenched, his eyes blazed, and for the first time since his return, his voice rang out clear, steady, human. I am not theirs. With a roar, he launched himself at the commanders, the real enemy revealed. The graveyard exploded in chaos. He fought with fury, tearing into the machines, ripping apart the glowing soldiers that once were human. His body blazed with alien fire, every strike shaking the ground. Anna screamed his name, but he didn't answer. He was lost in the storm, caught between human rage and alien power. The commanders struck back, their blades slicing through tombstones, through steel, through the night itself. Sparks and screams filled the air. Anna crouched behind the broken stone, clutching the shard of metal, her heart breaking. She saw the truth now. The real enemy wasn't just the machines. The real enemy wasn't just the commanders. The real enemy was the war inside him, and if he lost, she would lose him forever. The ending. The graveyard burned with chaos. Broken machines sparked in the mud, glowing soldiers clashed with their own kind, and the commander's blades cut through stone as if the earth itself was paper. In the middle of it all, he fought like fire, given shape. Every strike was thunder, every movement too fast for the eye. His glowing veins lit the night like lightning under skin. His roar echoed across the graves, shaking the silence of the dead. Anna watched, tears streaming, her hands clutched around the shard of metal. Her heart pounded so hard it hurt. She wanted to run to him, to fight at his side, but fear rooted her in place. Was this him? Or was this just the weapon they built? The final stand. The commanders moved as one. Their blades flashed blue, slashing through his chest and arms. He staggered, blood mixing with the glow under his skin. But he didn't fall. He screamed, grabbed one commander by the arm, and ripped it free in a spray of sparks. The others lunged. Anna screamed his name. His eyes snapped toward her. For a heartbeat she saw him, the man she remembered. His eyes softened, the glow dimmed, and his voice rang out, clear and human. Run. But she didn't. She couldn't. She stepped forward instead, standing at his back. Her voice was fierce, sharp through the tears. No, I won't leave you again. Something shifted inside him. His roar grew louder, shaking the ground. He surged forward, grabbing one commander and slamming it into the others. Metal screamed. Blue light flickered. He was winning. But the glowing soldiers, the ones who were once human, closed in on Anna. Their pale faces were blank, their eyes empty. They moved like shadows, silent, unstoppable. Anna raised her shard of metal, her arms shaking. Stay back, she cried. They didn't stop. The choice, he saw them coming. His heart stopped. The commanders struck again, blades slicing deep into his side. Pain tore through him, but he didn't care. His glowing veins flared so bright they lit the night like fire. He had a choice. Protect himself or protect her. He chose her. With a roar, he tore free from the commanders and hurled himself toward Anna. His body slammed into the glowing soldiers, throwing them back like dolls. His arms wrapped around her, shielding her from their claws. But the commander's blades came down. Anna screamed. The blade struck his back. The sacrifice. The sound was sickening, steel tearing through flesh and fire. His body arched, his veins blazing white-hot. His roar turned into a scream of agony. Anna clung to him, sobbing. "No, please, no." He turned his head toward her, his glowing eyes flickering. For a moment they weren't alien. They weren't broken. They were his. Human. Warm. He smiled weakly. "You saved me, Anna. Not with weapons. Not with strength. With this." His trembling hand touched her chest, over her heart. Her tears fell on his face. "Don't leave me again." His body shuddered. The glow inside him pulsed violently, brighter, hotter, like a star about to burn out. He whispered, "I'm not leaving. Not this time." And then the light exploded. The explosion. Graveyard lit up like a second sun. White fire surged from his body, ripping through the commanders, shattering the glowing soldiers, burning the swarm to ash. The ground split, tombstones shattered, the very air screamed. Anna threw herself to the ground, covering her face, but the heat still burned against her skin. When the light finally faded, silence fell. The machines were gone. The commanders were nothing but shattered metal. The glowing soldiers lay still, their light extinguished. The graveyard was quiet once more. The aftermath. Anna lifted her head slowly. Smoke curled into the night sky. The air smelled of ash and iron. She looked around. The graveyard was destroyed. Broken stones. Scorched earth. Silence. And then her eyes fell on him. He lay at the center of it all, his body still, his veins dim. "Please," she whispered, crawling to him. "Please don't be gone." She pressed her hands to his chest. No glow, no warmth. Her tears fell harder. She bent low, pressing her forehead against his. "I should have saved you. I should have found a way." And then, faint. A tremor. Her breath caught. His chest rose barely. His eyes flickered open, dim but alive. He smiled weakly. "Told you. I'm not leaving." Anna sobbed, clutching him close. Relief, joy, sorrow, all at once. But as she held him, she noticed something. The glow in his veins was gone. The alien fire was gone. He was human. The ending. He lay in her arms, weak but alive. His scars remained, but the glow had faded. The voices were silent. The chains were broken. Anna smiled through her tears. "You're free." He closed his eyes, his voice soft. "Because of you." The graveyard was still. The night was quiet. The war was not over, but for the first time since that day, there was hope. Anna held him tighter, her voice steady. "Then we'll fight whatever comes next. Together." His hand found hers. Their fingers intertwined. Above them the clouds parted and the stars shone again. The dead slept in silence. The machines were gone. And in the ruins of the graveyard, two survivors sat side by side, alive, broken but unbroken still. The story wasn't finished. But this chapter was.